you're as broke as me, you have exactly 1 week from today for the release of Sonic X Shadow Generations, coming out on all consoles. But if you're one of the lucky ones, you guys have to wait only about 4 or 5 days at the time of this video's release. We're all starting to lose our minds, not only with Dark Beginnings being such a fantastic segue into this game, but also looking back at all the new changes they've been adding to classic Sonic and modern Sonic. Sonic X Shadow Generations looking to be basically the hub for Sonic Central gaming. I'm really having such high expectations for this game, not only for its initial vanilla release, but even the potential as to what stages could be coming out after its launch. Over the past month, we've counted down every single week to this game in the road to Sonic X Shadow Generations, and now we're at the final episode. We've gone through classic Sonic in an overview, modern Sonic, and now it's time to look at Shadow the Hedgehog. Well, there's not really the old original stages from any Shadow games included in Sonic Generations, so I decided to spice things up a little bit. I went back to learn about Shadow the Hedgehog's history by playing every single level that is included in Sonic X Shadow Generations. So it was quite a journey. I had to record every single level from their original console release. And if you're as old as I am, you know that you have to go quite a far back journey into the land of nostalgia to really find these levels. Thank you so much to the Twitter community for helping me out put this video together, since I didn't really know at first what stages were included. My name is SuperGirlKels. I'm a content creator especially known for Sonic, esports, vlogs, and more. If you want to go on twitch.tv/SuperGirlKels on weekdays to watch us live and see all this content that I do specifically for this video, then come on by and see what the next project holds. Without further ado, let's start overviewing every single level that is included in Sonic X Shadow Generations, the original levels, and just imagining what could be in this game 1 week from today. Let's hop in. Okay, we gotta start off with Radical Highway, the first of this legendary character's run. This is the first time you ever play as Shadow the Hedgehog, and it of course has to be quite the intro. I think it's kind of similar to Green Hill Zone for Sonic and Sonic 1. Shadow being introduced here, I think, is such an opening to the edginess that Sonic wanted to go for in the 2000s when they kind of rebranded him into this kind of skater graffiti style 3D character, right? I mean, the Sonic 2D character wasn't really fit for a 3D environment, so they had to redesign Sonic specifically for Sonic Adventure. With Sonic Adventure 2, I think Shadow's design really did speak to gamers in this time zone where just you want edginess, but you want cool, but you want classy as well. And I think that's what Shadow does so perfectly. I think the level design of Radical Highway does a fantastic job at showcasing Shadow's movement, how he handles the environment, and uses his specific tools to not only contrast to Sonic, but also really relate to it too. Performing trips and jumps here that will kind of give you shortcuts to get to where you need to while getting points. Getting an A rank in this stage is a lot easier than, let's say, City Escape, since you are basically playing vanilla Shadow for most of the game. You do get yourself the light speed shoes at some point, but it's never really required besides the white jungle for Shadow. But these loop-de-loops, so well done here. And I love the way even the music stuff, I don't know if you heard that, but whenever you go through certain sections and the music kind of calms down, you just hear the wind or the jets that are trying to catch up to Shadow, still thinking that this is Sonic, of course, at the time. And you have these extreme platform scenarios that just feel so smooth. In my opinion, I think Sonic Adventure 2 is the best Sonic game when it comes down to platforming in 3D. I think nothing feels this good, this fluid, and this exciting, this impactful to just play this level over and over again, and just how he interacts with the environment in the human world, right? Where Sonic was always like Mobius, it's animals, blah, blah, blah. But now we're engaging with human environments. So we got these street lights, we got the roads, we got these construction areas that we got to go through looking like Montreal, you know what I'm saying? So it's nice to see that even how he goes down these construction lines and how roads are closed, but we're going through them anyway because that's the badass that Shadow is. And you got these advertisements too on the side. You see Nights into Dreams there, just showcasing the Dreamcast. We saw Big a little bit earlier before. This final stretch, I think, is the only thing I want changed in this game. I feel like it just feels like the lack of control. I'm kind of bumping into the road here. I think that it doesn't feel as fluid as it should be, but this section here finally fixes that because you're on this automatic run. This last enemy kind of boots in. I'd love to see just a lot more enemies, a lot more dramatic effects that are more modern, of course, but I really hope they don't change too much of these level designs because I think that's what makes this level so iconic in the first place, similar to how they did Generations Green Hill Zone. Let's get into the next level, Bullet Station. Okay, so I actually recorded this level twice, and I'm gonna kind of mash them together because I run into a really crazy glitch, and I'm really excited for you guys to see it. We know the story of Sonic Heroes by now that is quite recently only starting to come out about how overworked these developers were, and they were so little developers, and obviously we know the story with Yuji Naka, and if not, there's a lot of documentaries on it. I will not focus on it here, but what a level. I think that this originally was the level I wanted to see in Sonic Generations for Sonic Heroes. I think this is the most impactful level in terms of music, level design, and if not this, it was going to be like Mystic Mansion or something. But I think the Halloween theme won't really fit the vibe of Sonic Generations. So I think that this is definitely a good second place. I think the grind rails as 3D Sonic evolved became such a staple into the series and needed to be showcased. And I think Bullet Station being the harder version definitely should have been chosen, especially when you're trying to get an A rank in this level. It is such a nightmare, guys. I mean, we know Team Dark is the hard mode of course, Sonic Heroes, but it really does go a long way and takes forever to really complete. And if you mess up once, you gotta restart if you want that A rank. So it makes it so hard to master, especially when you consider all the bugs and glitches that are in this game, which we will see in a short amount of time. But this cannon, man, this is the one thing while I was recording this footage, I want to see what on earth they're going to do with these cannons. I think it was the most exhilarating part of the level and is obviously what differentiates itself from the rest of the zones in Sonic Heroes. So it's going to be really, really nice to see. And of course, the biggest question, like in Seaside Hill with Sonic in Generations, is how Shadow will be able to kind of interact with the environment without the use of Rouge or Omega. Now that you don't have power or flight, how is Shadow going to get around? It's going to be great to see maybe those Black Doom wings that are going to maybe carry Shadow to fly, or using Chaos Blast or even Chaos Control to maybe get through the power needed sections, or even utilizing maybe Shadow's boots, his jet boots, to maybe glide across certain areas that only Omega would have done with the triangle dive. It's gonna be great to see. Now this is where things get a little weird. So the first one is fine, I'm able to get in, but you're gonna see that I'm gonna like glitch out completely where Omega like vanishes. He just dies. The man evaporates, literally, rest in peace. And there's no way to call him back, and it's gonna be funny. These sections here hitting the engines will be the main part of each section, and those are the main checkpoints in general for Rail Canyon and Bullet Station. So we're gonna see how that's gonna come in. I wanna know if they're actually going to kind of combine both Bullet Station and the Rail Canyon, just how they did for Seaside Hill. They kind of did both of them. They did Ocean Palace alongside it, and I think that it worked really well in Generations, the original. So, because I think these levels, Rail Canyon and Bullet Station, are very different. Yes, there's rails. Yes, the whole thing is kind of gliding and hitting keys and finding alternate paths to get to where you need to be, but they all have a different mission and a different focus, I think. Here, you're really focusing on those cannons and hitting those entrances and engines, where in Rail Canyon, you're focused more on platforming and finding the goal point, hitting A to B, where here it really feels like you have purpose. So here we go. We will go ahead. Oh man, I hope they bring this back specifically. The poles, oh my God, to glide and go around them using the tornado jump would be really, really, really special. I think it'd be such a nice call out, because that's actually a move I've missed in the Sonic franchise for quite some time. Switches, I'm sure, will also be coming back. I think Shadow has always been a little bit more of an explorer than just another platformer like Sonic, because he's really nothing like Sonic, you know? He's got the same moveset, but he's got a lot more in terms of diversity. We're gonna go ahead and hit these areas, but thank you, Rouge, for grabbing that for me. I appreciate it. Now we're gonna get to this section here. Now, I could probably do that with Shadow since he does have the full level 3. I do miss that RPG aspect in this game, where the more you level up your characters, the stronger they become. I really wish they did keep that. And if anyone knows how to get that damn 1-up, let me know. I'm actually super curious. Since I was a kid, I was actually never able to get it. A little bit of a miss there. Let's jump old-fashioned Mario Bros. Style. Careful not to fall. Thank you for the warning. This is the one, if they ever did port Sonic Heroes, man, this is the one thing I want to fix. The way that the power characters just fly across the whole room when trying to punch is insane, and the amount of times I'm sure all of us have fallen off of the level because of it. It's kind of crazy. Let's go ahead and knock these guys out. Or not. Again, lots of issues, right? Sometimes you jump, you want to interact with things, and it might not happen the way that you might dream of. And here's the big one. You're going to get through all of this, get as many rings, many powers. You can actually get a lot here. So in case you're not fully leveled, this is a great way to do so. Leveling up and getting level 3 specifically for all characters is what's going to give you the majority of these points. So pretty important. We're going to avoid all this. Oh, it feels so good, man. And now here's going to come the moment of death. So we get onto this platform, no problem. We're going to jump onto the other side soon, and we're all going to laugh together in just a second. You will not believe it until you see it. And if anyone else has had this glitch, please let me know. I've been playing Sonic Heroes over and over and have completed it since I was maybe 10 years old. So for this to have happened to me was insane. I'll show you guys in just a second. We're gonna get up this part. We're gonna use the triangle dive. Get around here. I'm just gonna use the chaos control, which is my least favorite of the team blasts, unfortunately, just because of the way time stops. And then you really can't advance, unfortunately, because literally everything stops, including the environment. So you just have to wait for this time to go down, and then you're able to continue. All right, so here's the part, guys. Okay, this shit killed me. All right, so we get rid of the enemies, and then I'm gonna go hit this switch, right? But then, oh, okay, there he goes. Omega just evaporated. Okay, he got squished, he died. That's fine. You think he's gonna respawn, but he actually never does. So I waited here for about 5 minutes, hoping it would respawn, and I do end up editing it out, but I tried everything from tornado jumping to switching to Rouge, trying to open this myself, maybe get into a new section, and unfortunately you're just not able to. I did have to lose my life just to get him to respawn, and now I'm back to basically no points, and we're just gonna carry on with the level. But let me know in the comments below if anyone has had that issue. It was quite the journey, that's for sure. And now we have to start over by leveling up everyone once again. I do hope that, oh, I'll be right back. There it is again, right? So a lot of issues in this game of things that you may not want to happen that are just out of your control, and that really does come down to rushed development cycles. And it all started with Sonic Heroes. We know that the dark age of Sonic games was starting right after this game, all the way up until 2010, I would say. So it was a dark time for sure, and this was just a sneak peek preview of what was to come. And Sega being just so tired and not having the budget to really get things done in such quality manner, where they just got to get the pay and continue. But we've been good. I'm really proud to see just how much and how far the company has come in the last few years, caring about Sonic the way they did and really reviving the brand and the games in such quality manner. You know, I know not a lot of people, some people really didn't like Frontiers, but it is my favorite Sonic game alongside Sonic 2 and 3. So I just have to give it credit. I mean, for it to be that high for me is insane. And voila, this part here we do see in the original Sonic generation, Seaside Hill. I'm wondering if they will bring this back, this kart section. I hope they honestly don't, because they already kind of implement this gimmick in Seaside Hill. I don't need to see it again. I think it would be great if Shadow would just kind of boost his way through, maybe use the wings, use any of his specific new fresh toolkit to kind of interact with this environment. I think it'd be a lot more interesting than just to have him back into a car. If I want to go play Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, I might as well just turn that game on instead. You know what I'm saying? That's just personally how I feel about it. Almost died there. Luckily he didn't. We're gonna land on this pole and we're just gonna continue on. Gonna grab this, and there we go. We're so back. So Shadow's fully leveled up. You know, he's the main star of this show, so that's kind of what we needed to see here. Let's grab these keys. When I was a kid, man, I always got lost in this section. I never really knew what to do, and turns out there's a little section right here where it hides where you want to be. Whoop. And I missed. Let me grab that again. Put it out. There it is. Thank you so much. And we got the final one, which is going to lead us, of course, to the last part of this section. Like, look at that. This is an 8-minute level, nearly 10 minutes, because I'm really exploring, trying to get as many points and remember this nostalgia as much as possible, right? You want to get into these big open environments that you're exploring all the time. And I think that was the highlight of Sonic Heroes, really able to just not stay on such a linear path. It was very different, even like how big, right, the stage is compared to the little character designs that are this. The light speed dash didn't even work there. We're gonna go ahead and use chaos control once again, since we still could interact with that goal ring, and that's gonna bring us to the very end. Let's get this for the little point. You know, it's the little points that matter, guys. Okay, that's something you wanna never ever forget. Now we're not gonna look at my points because you already know I got an E. Okay, I died nearly at the end. It's unfortunate. So Sonic Heroes, they can really work with a lot of assets if they want to make it into generations, especially now it's Shadow's new tool. I'm going to be excited. But now getting onto the arc, Shadow the Hedgehog 2005, his main game. God, I hate this game. Probably going to get a lot of hate in the comments for it. I know Twitch had a good time. You guys, shout outs to you guys getting me to this level, so I was able to record this in a time. But it just feels so messy. But on the contrast to, of course, Sonic X Shadow Generations, we won't need this. Like, this enemy that we're going to be riding around this entire level, I think is going to be replaced entirely by Shadow's wings that Black Doom does end up giving him. It just makes sense to me why they chose this level. One, the arc is so significant to Maria and everything that's happened. But using Shadow's wings to really freely fly around here instead of just exploring the environment on foot is what's going to make this level just kind of stand out, I think, from the entire game. So I'm pretty excited to play this level specifically. Like, the entire time I was playing it, I was like, man, why did they pick this level to be in the game? And now looking back, I'm like, damn, you know what? They're kind of genius. Let them cook just a little bit. So it's going to be great to see Shadow just roaming around here, maybe interacting with some bosses and just enemies and getting Gun out of here. Especially that he's not, like, based on Dark Beginnings, he's not really with Gun anymore. He's kind of never been, has done some services for them or all that. He's the anti-hero and we know that. So all we can do is kind of support Shadow in the timeline that he's going to be at and trying to figure out his past. And I think his game, of course, is the one thing they need to really nail and kind of shout out really quick. The way that they fix Sonic 06 with Crisis City does kind of give a good call out here. So let's get out of this section. Thank God. As you can see, I'm having a horrible time getting hit by absolutely everything. But we saved our little Doom face guy. Our little bird. I don't even know if he's a bird. Demon bird. Ah! I always got stuck there too, even playing regular Shadow. Originally, turning on this game, I lost my entire save data. Everything was gone. I don't know what happened. My memory card said the game was corrupted, but luckily it did save this here. I think it had to do with the calendar system that just kind of forgot what day it was, because I think when the GameCube reaches a certain day or year, it just kind of stops. So now we have Chaos Blast up here, and we're completely invincible, of course, but we are going to be using it, showcasing that, hey, I hope this does come back, because we've seen the Black Doom new tools that have been added to Shadow's kits, but we have not seen the return of Chaos Blast or Chaos Control. So I'm really curious to see if that's going to be something that will come back or not. I've watched all the trailers and I could be wrong. Maybe you guys see something I don't, so let me know in those comments, of course. But based on what I see, I don't think we're getting that. I think they really do want to focus on the Black Doom arms that Shadow does possess and attach to him as just more equipment and toolkits to his arsenal. Let's get through these boosters. I will be going for just the normal ending to this, of course. This would be the final beacon that I'd have to take down, but we're just going to go for the main goals. And Shadow is on a journey for himself. He's not working for the Black, Doom army. He's not looking for the Black Arms. He's not looking for anything. He is just trying to survive. Let's get to that Chaos Emerald, and that's going to end off this level. So it's actually very short, especially when you're comparing Sonic Heroes, right? An 8 to 10 minute level compared to the 3 to 5 minute level that you do have with just a regular Sonic game. So we're back to that. It is what it is. What I'm most excited to see, though, out of the entirety of this re-release is Kingdom Valley from Sonic 06. Sonic 06, I think, is obviously one of the worst Sonic games ever made, one of the worst games made, period, because of how unfinished it was, and that was the pinnacle of the dark era of Sonic, and just showed how tired and overworked Sega was to not even make a deadline and releasing a beta version. I am playing here the Project 06 version, since I don't have Sonic 06 on my Xbox 360 really set up for Shadow Story, and I needed to record this footage. And I think Project 06 is just such a perfect way of showcasing what Sega really wanted to do with this game. It's the true finished version, and that's what we're going to play today. I tried to make it as authentic as possible. It's just so well done. Let's get to Rouge the Bat here. I love this section. I'm wondering if they're going to bring her back, or if they're just going to make this part entirely for Shadow. We've seen people play Kingdom Hearts. Yo, shout out to Kingdom Hearts. Oh my god. No, Kingdom Valley. We've been seeing people play this game and just how everything's interactive, but we have not seen Rouge. We have not seen how Rouge is gonna play, if she even is here, or if we're gonna have Shadow just looking for the keys himself, because that's kind of what they did with, of course, the rest of Sonic Generations. And I think it's really just a call out to Shadow's specific story, him being on his own as well in this kind of Time Eater universe. And I think it only makes sense for him to just be taking over this place, and he shouldn't be the one finding the keys. So I know nothing about Shadow's story in Sonic 06 at all. So this section got me quite lost. I was jumping around like, bro, where is this key? It must be in that door. I did not consider that it was hiding underneath the door, which is where it is. But the way that I go above and beyond to hit every single enemy, to just be like, hey, I think it's in the door. It has to open. So I kind of went ham with all the enemies here. But I also just wanted to give a shout out to, of course, Project 06 creator Chaos X for putting this game together based on the past 3 to 5 years that he's been working on this himself with his small team of just volunteers. Is incredible to see what he has accomplished to kind of be the greatest Sonic game in 3D history. It really truly feels like the true successor to Sonic Adventure 2, in my opinion. And I don't know if anyone else feels like that, so please let me know in the comments if that's the way you feel as well. So I think here's the moment where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go hit these enemies, and if it doesn't spawn, I'm actually crazy. So I go like this, see ya. I'll just go around, no biggie. And then I'm like, okay, the door has to be open now, right? So I go back, and I'm like, hey, the door's not open, so let me use this window. I hit it, and then as soon as I get inside, I'm like, oh, there's no key here. It's actually where you're supposed to end up at the end. I'm like, well, all right then. Let me just continue getting rid of this. This thing opens, and then nothing's actually in it. And I'm like, girl, where are we supposed to go? I'm mad lost. I'm mad lost, girl. Let's get underneath here, and that's where you're gonna find, of course, the key. I remember recording this being so angry, like, girl, are you serious? I was gonna remove it out of this recording, but I found it pretty funny looking back and being like, I'm very lost, and you guys can laugh at me. And we can really look at the level design as well, because again, I really don't think Rouge is going to be a playable character. I think it's going to be Shadow exploring this area entirely. And to see Shadow in such an open environment, exploring is what he is known for most. I said that in the beginning. And I think this is going to suit him a lot. Or instead of maybe finding keys, he might have to just kind of barrel his way through maybe a gauntlet of enemies or find his own puzzles to solve. And I think that's going to be pretty cool to kind of witness how Sega is going to kind of recreate this situation. Let's get rid of that last enemy to open that door. One over there. Voila, voila. Lose a ring because this game is hard to keep rings. There's the other one. Now we got one more key we're going to find, which is going to be all the way down here. Those become super easy. It was just that. Let's keep on flying. And now I'm like super self-conscious. I'm just like, guys, all the enemies have to die just in case. What if a gate isn't opening? I'm very, very stressed at this point. Let's open these doors. We love a ring falling out. It's no use. Those are still buggy as hell. Always the spike balls, man. But I think it's kind of a good throwback. I do love the targeting system that they add here. And I know that that really comes out in Sonic Unleashed. But it's great to see how well it works in this game specifically. All right, we're going to get rid of all of this. Again, nothing is there. So we're going to head back because now we got to hit all of this area. I'm like trying to see, man, where is this key? These keys were not easy to find, let me tell you, man. We're going to try and hit the commander. Nothing happens. Again, I'm confused. And I actually don't remember, looking back here, where this is actually being done. I'm like, girl, please. We jump here onto the right. Still, I notice it goes back green, so it can't. And then finally, I see on the top, it was hanging out the entire time. So I do find myself the final key, and we're going to get to the door, which opens it up, of course, for Shadow. So again, she's not going to be there. So I'm really, like, wondering, how is this going to work? It will be really cool if there is kind of a throwback to Sonic Adventure 2, where you have, you know, the gun levels and you have the treasure hunting levels, if they're implemented all into Shadow, because I feel like that's where he was born and that's what made that game so iconic. Oh, I'm okay. Everything's fine. Keep going. I forgot about that part. Let's keep going around. They did obviously fix this. We do have to have this. I don't care. I mean, obviously we're not going to be riding anything. I end up falling because I pressed the wrong button, but we do know that Shadow is going to be riding his black arm companion. So he's able to really kind of surf along the coast. It's going to be really great. Is he going to be able to shoot anything at the same time? I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming so. I think the Black Arms do have weapons of their own and they do have powers of their own. So seeing how Shadow's going to use that, maybe some Chaos Spear will come out. That'll be interesting to see. But it's the same thing for even the beginning when he was on his jet. He's really going to just be flying instead. So I think Kingdom Valley is going to be much more of a later level that we're going to be experiencing. I know that we're going to be exploring this hub world based on Chaos Island in Sonic Frontiers. So maybe we can play all the levels in different order. This is all questions that I feel like we don't have answers to, and we're only going to have those answers when we really get the game. And it's going to be nice because I think Sonic Generations, the original, is so linear in terms of how you need to play every level. Classic Sonic first, whatever, to modern Sonic, and you can play those in the order you want, but it's not going to change the outcome. Where here, you might have a different goal in mind, and you might have a different experience from anyone else who owns the game, and that's a really nice throwback too to Shadow the Hedgehog, the game, where the ending is something you decide. There's like 100-something endings, and it's up to you to figure out what ending you want based on the decisions and missions that you complete. Let's get rid of all this. I love the combo system that Shadow has, what they updated here. So well done. Again, I really hope he does kind of punch. We do have a full meter in Project 06. You are able to kind of unleash Chaos Blast, and not only are you invincible, but you're damn strong and fast at the same time. And if you do level up that meter again, you can go to level 2 and 3 for a giant blast. So let's see if we can go ahead and get that. I'll try my best. Get around here. Get the rings that are always hiding into that corner. There is no leader, so we're gonna just combo all of these guys and get to the end. This part's gonna be super iconic that they actually will have to achieve. It's a platforming section, but with a lot of ropes, a lot of torches, And lots of, like, this is a boost section. 100%. This section here, you're boosting. And then we're going to climb this church. You know, we love Shadow going to church. Very, very noble of him. Let's get through here. And then again, jumping through. So you don't have like a mock speed section, but just this chaotic, dramatic finale of just reaching the end. And it is quite the long level. Like, again, 8 minutes and 30 seconds is pretty long for a Sonic level. But that's what was the beauty, I think, of Sonic 06 in general. Even anything to do with Shadow, he's always known to be the hard mode of Sonic. So getting past this area, again, more running. Light speed dash, get on in, grab the 1-up. Now, I thought I had to go straight here, but you actually have to go down, which is interesting because Sonic goes up and Shadow goes down. So I like that. A little bit of, again, the shadow of Sonic contrasting him. Get through here, and I do believe we have the final part. We're going to get rid of all these enemies, take them out, which again is very much like Shadow. He ain't got any friends besides Omega and Rouge. He's chilling out. And I don't even know, has he ever considered Omega or Rouge friends? Like, is anyone in the comments, let me know. I haven't been reading the IDW comments, so it would be pretty interesting to know if he actually does consider them as friends or allies, right? I think it is what it is. We're gonna go here, of course, put on a Chaos Blast, make this as fast as possible, get through the final touch, and there is the goal ring. Voila! Merci beaucoup, as they say in French. And that is Kingdom Valley. Again, so excited to see what they're going to do with it, because something like Bullet Station, they just have so much content. The land is so large and there's so many alternate endings, but there's very iconic stuff. Unlike the next game and the last game, we got the enemy territory city in Sunset Heights of Sonic Forces, my personal least favorite Sonic game of all time, and you can probably tell why with the first 10 seconds. It is Shadow holding boost, maybe pressing A once in a while, getting through where he needs to get to. I am playing this with a mod. This is the original Sunset Heights. This is the Shadow mod. I do have 2 versions of this. So this is from Episode Shadow. This is kind of a nostalgic attempt for Sega to be like, look, Shadow's back after 10 years. And it is obviously very horribly done. As you can see, there is just hold forward, press the A button, and keep going. It's really not challenge at all, even in this 2D section. It feels very... It doesn't feel natural. And I think that if you kept this same level design in Generations, that itself will be better because of the physics that Generations offers, and maybe what you can do with the platforming because of those physics. So, like, again, I'm just gonna boost through here. I'm doing absolutely nothing different. There's no Chaos Blast, there's nothing. I don't have to actually challenge or do anything different, just because Shadow will hold A and everything is gonna be fine. I'm just gonna grab everything, hit the boost, hit the bumper, and hold forward, because this level's about to be over, which is also the shortest level, of course, in the Sonic history. There it is. Voila. 100 oops. 1 minute and 35 seconds. Like, my Christ. It's pretty pathetic. Every time I talk about Sonic Forces, I know it has a really big community, because the modding community specifically has improved the levels, even making them bigger, which is insane. Bless it. But at least we get redeemed here in Sonic Frontiers. Now, I'm not going to play any like levels or anything like that, because this is going to be the hub world that Shadow will explore. I am using a mod so you guys are able to see what it could maybe look like, where Shadow will go ahead and explore. I'm excited to see just how big of Chaos Island they're going to use to really decide what level and such. I'm wondering if he's going to interact with the environments the same way Sonic did. This is all questions that I have, and why they decided to make it off of Frontiers. And if we're going to have an actual level from Sonic Frontiers included into this, just because there is no Shadow. But it's really great, because this entire game and this premise of Shadow's story is going to be like, where was Shadow during the time of Sonic Generations. So while Sonic is off fighting the Time Eater, what is Shadow doing meanwhile? So I think that's pretty cool. That, my friends, is all of Shadow's history in one video to kind of make ourselves super excited and give us an idea as to what we can expect 1 week from today. Or I'm sorry for you guys, in like 3, 4, 5 days, whatever. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more. You can visit twitch.tv/SuperGirlKels if you want to check out everything live from Completionist Runs, esports, and of course, Sonic X Shadow Generations, a entire stream, 100%ing that game as fast as possible. Once we're out, we'll be literally grinding that game once it is. Hope you have a great rest of your week. I'll see you next week for Sonic X Shadow Generations. I'm definitely going to do an entire review once it is out. So hope you enjoy that and see you then. Bye!